Hello, my dear students. Today we'll talk about the trade unionism in India, trade unions, and the trade dispute. What is trade union? Daily Order has defined as a continuing long-term association of employees formed and maintained for the specific purpose of advancing and protecting the interest of the members in their working relationship. So we can say it's a continuing long-term association. Trade union is a continuing long-term association of employees and formed and maintained for the specific purpose of advancing and protecting the interest of the members in their working relationship. Characteristics of a trade unions are: the trade union may be an association of either the employer or employees, but we usually call the association of employer the employers association, while the association employees we call the trade union. Trade unions are a relatively permanent combination of workers rather than temporary or casual, because once we form a trade union, one purpose, one objective is achieved, accomplished, then we try to achieve the other purposes, other objectives. And trade unions are primarily engaged in securing economic benefits to their members. So trade unions are associations of employees. Trade unions are relatively permanent combinations of workers rather than temporary or casual. Trade unions are primarily engaged in securing economic benefits to their members. The other characteristic of a trade union is trade unions are economically oriented, and trade unions are an instrument of defense, because with the help of trade unions, employees, they feel confident, they feel that we are in a position to bargain certain things. So it's an instrument of defense to the workers, and the collective strength offers a sort of insurance cover to members. With the help of this cover, they fight against irrational behavior of the employers, the arbitrariness of the employers, and illegal actions of employers. So in this way, they feel that we are collective, we are united, and they feel that we are in a position to fight against the irrational behavior of the employers, the arbitrariness of the behavior employers, and the illegal actions of the employers. Because most of the times employers try to suppress the workers. So once the employees are united, they are the member of a trade union, they feel confident. Then now we talk about the history of trade union in India. History of trade union is in India. The first workers organization was Bombay Mill Hands Association in the year 1890 by N.M. Lokhande ji himself. He was a worker. Factories Act 89, then 1891, the Factories Act was passed, and the attempt was to organize the laborers in India with the help of this Factories Act. And the period of 1924 to 1935, we take this era of revolutionary trade union movement in India. from 1924 to 1935. We take it as an era of the revolutionary trade union movement in India. Mahatma Gandhi ji led to the growth of non-violent trend in nationalist struggle. And then the setting up of International Labour Organization in 1919 gave an international color to this collectivism of the workers or these trade unions. The All India Trade Union Congress, ATUC, was formed in 1920, and further splits happened to form the All India Red Trade Union Congress. And efforts to unify were made. All India Red Trade Union Congress merged with the ATUC, All India Trade Union Congress. Then soon after independence and partition of India, it adversely affected the Indian trade union movements in India. And socialist groups formed the Hind Mazdoor Sabha in Calcutta. They neither approved ATUC nor INTUC, and the United Trade Union Congress was formed in 1949 by members who could not agree with the principles and objectives of Hind Mazdoor Sabha or HMS. And in India, the huge multiplicity of unions. There are number of unions, and the membership of unions is, less than 500. So we can understand the huge multiplicity of unions, trade unions in India, and politicization of trade unions also, rather than clinging to goal of collective bargaining and negotiation with the management. So most of the trade unions, they are busy in other affairs rather than they focus then how we can make good of the workers fraternity or with the help of bargaining, negotiation with the management. And outside leadership in trade unions, the professional politicians, lawyers are involving into the trade unions, and they try to serve their purposes. And the trade union office bearers, they just do not work for the welfare of the employees while they are being utilized or they are being used by the political parties with the help of politicians, with the help of lawyers involved in those activities. And now we'll talk about that how these trade unions are affiliated to different political parties. As you can see in the slides, the political affiliations are given in the brackets. Let us talk about the All India Central Council of Trade Unions, the Communist Party of India, Marxist-Lenin's Liberation, All India Trade Union Congress, the Communist Party of India, All India United Trade Union Center, Socialist Unity Center of India, and Bharatiya Mazdoor Sangh, Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh, Center for Indian Trade Unions, Communist Party of India, Marxist, Hind Mazdoor Sabha, Socialist, Indian National Trade Union Congress, Indian National Congress associated with the Indian National Congress. Then other one is the Labor Progressive Federation and associated with Dravida Munitra Kajgam, Seva Trade Unions Coordination Committee, All India Forward Bloc associated with the All India Forward Bloc, United Trade Union Congress, Revolutionary Socialist related to the or associated with the Revolutionary Socialist Party. Then we can see the different problems. What are the different problems of trade union movements or trade unionism in India. Because trade unionism in India is not very sound as they face a lot of problems. So, problems of trade union movement related to trade unions in India was the uneven growth of the trade unions. Because there are certain trade unions which have a relatively good number of membership, while the few trade unions are there having a very low membership. So uneven growth of the trade unions and the low membership of the trade unions. Because in India, the literacy rate of the worker is not good, and they do not understand the use of these trade unions. They do not understand the importance of these trade unions, that once they become the member of the trade unions, then what sort of benefits they can avail, how they can empower themselves to negotiate or to go for the collective bargaining with the management. So this is a great problem in Indian trade, for Indian trade unions. And the influence of the outside leadership, because the trade union leaders, they understand the what is the requirement, what is the purpose of the trade union. But outside leadership, the outside political interference will disturb the ultimate purposes or of the objectives of the trade unions. And multiplicity of unions in India, of course, because every trade union thinks or feels like we are the best, we are the association which can think about the benefit or for the good of the workers. So they, most of the times, they are busy in the personal rivalries. So the multiplicity of unions will be you know and will be an working as an impediment for the growth of the unions. And inter-union rivalries, of course, the multiplicity of unions will lead to the inter-union rivalry, that we are the best. A union is best. B union is not good. So this kind of approach most of the trade unions are having. Then the absence of the paid office bearers, because trade union office bearers they are not getting any amount, anything. So in that way, they means the trade unions are lacking in growth, progress. Financial positions of the trade union is not very sound because the subscription rate is very poor, hardly 2 rupees, 5 rupees. So we cannot generate good funds out of that amount. Subscription dues unpaid, means whatever subscription amount we are having, most of the members of the trade unions, they are not paying that. So in that way, we can see that this is again a problem for the Indian trade unions. Lack of interest, because office bearers are being not paid, the members are not interested, they do not understand that what is the use of these trade unions, how they will be benefited. So lack of interest again is a problem for Indian trade unions. And limited stress on welfare, because the employees are not aware or they do not work for the welfare much, and limited focus by the trade unions for the welfare of the fraternity is again a challenge for the Indian trade unions. Now we take up the measures for strengthening of trade unions, that how we can strengthen our trade unions. So we can strengthen the trade unions in India by development of a strong base. We should try to educate our workers, our employees, so that they understand the importance of the uh, joining the trade unions, or once they become the member of the trade unions, what benefits they can get. One union in one industry will of course lead to the growth of the trade unions and will strengthen the trade unions. And once we go for this one union in one industry, this will definitely discourage the union rivalries. Elimination of political influence, outside influences we can stop. This will again lead to the growth of the trade unions in India. Development of internal leadership, we should give weightage to the internal leaders of the trade unions because they understand well the, the different issues involved in the industries. And paid union officials, if we pay an honorarium to the office bearers, then it will definitely lead to the growth of the trade unions. Financial stability, the subscription rate should be implemented well, and subscription rate should be reasonably good, like with the help of which they can just generate certain funds to achieve different purposes, object of the trade unions. Expansion of union activities will lead to the growth of trade union. Recognition of trade union activities, we should give to the recognition, yes, our trade union has done this for the welfare of the workers, for the good of the workers. So these kind of things can, uh, means lead the show in a better way, and the trade unions would be in a better position. In 1926, Trade Union Act gave legal status to the registered trade unions and conferred on them a measure of immunity from civil suits and criminal prosecutions once they are following all the provisions of the Trade Union Act. They are going for the legal strikes by serving the proper notices and all. So all sort of immunities from civil suits and criminal prosecutions would be there for the trade unions. An important landmark in the history of trade union movement in India, this privilege or this immunity to the trade unions. All India Trade Union Federation, AITUF, was formed by moderate groups within the AIT. And now we just take a glimpse of that what different functions of trade unions can perform. The trade unions can perform the militant or the protective, or we call the intramural functions, or fraternal or the extramural functions trade unions can perform, political functions, social functions trade unions perform. When we talk about the militant or the protective or the intramural functions, through this we protect the workers' interest, such as hike in the wages, providing more benefits for the job security of the workers, and through the process of collective bargaining or direct action like strikes, lockouts, we can protect the rights of the workers. When we talk about the fraternal or the extramural functions, providing financial and non-financial assistance during the crisis period, because these are the fraternal, as the word itself is self-explanatory, fraternal. So we are helping each other, the workers are helping each other. Extension of medical facilities during slackness and casualties, provisions for education, for recreation, for housing facilities, provisions for social and religious benefits, all sort of things we can arrange for the workers. Now we talk about the trade dispute. What do you mean by the trade dispute? The trade dispute means any dispute between employers and workmen, or between workmen and workmen, or between employers and employers, which is connected with employment or non-employment, or the terms of employment. And this definition is given in the section 2K of the Industrial Dispute Act also. And we can say that trade dispute is any dispute between an employer and his employees, which is connected with the employment or non-employment, or the terms of the employment, of the conditions of work, or any such workers. And trade dispute between workers and their employer, which relates wholly or mainly to any of the following. This dispute may be related to the terms of and the conditions of the employment, may be related to the physical working conditions, engagement or non-engagement, suspension of a worker, termination of employment, allocation of work, disciplinary matters. So a dispute between workers and the employer, which relates to wholly or mainly to any of the following what we have discussed right now. And membership or non-membership of the trade union, facilities of trade of union officials, machinery for negotiation or consultation or other procedures relating to above. For a trade union, organizing industrial actions to enjoy civil immunity, the action must be taken in contemplation of furtherance of a trade dispute. We call that the golden formula. So this is all about the trade unions definition part, trade dispute part, and the problems involved in the Indian trade unions, and how we can strengthen the Indian trade unions, and a historical view of the Indian trade unions. So, my dear students, I believe this lecture will definitely give you or enlighten you about these topics what we have discussed today. Thank you so much. And in our next lecture, we will take up some new topic. Thank you so much and have a good day. Bye bye. Take care.